Hey guys, how are you? So I have really good news, at least for me. I had a virtual doctor's appointment on Friday with my Cedars-Sinai doctor. Cedars-Sinai is basically where I had my kidney transplant on, and he said that my creatinine went low, and that's a really good sign, so everything's good. So just to give you a little background on my creatinine, and it kind of worried me, is because your creatinine, if you have normal functioning 2 working kidneys, your creatinine will be 1 or lower basically, and once your kidney start, either rejection or something's happening, that creatinine start creeping up, where eventually you might be where there's no function in your kidney and you end up in dialysis basically. So somebody that has had already a kidney transplant like myself, I have to watch my creatinine every year. I mean, all the time, basically every 3 to 4 months with my nephrologist, because you got to make sure that creatinine stays at a good level at 1 or less. That's kind of like ideal basically. If it starts, like, let's say you got your kidney transplant, your creatinine level is, let's say 0.8 or 1, and let's say a year later it's like 1.2, and then it keeps creeping up a little, it starts getting a little worrisome, because that means that there's something going on with the kidneys. Either it's not filtrating pretty properly, they're not functioning, there's possibility of rejection. I mean, there can be so many little different things that could affect that. It could even be medication. So what was happening with me is my creatinine started creeping up. It started like from 1, and then 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and then started going 1.5. And for me, that's scary, because that's my second kidney transplant that I've had. I first had, it's pretty interesting, I first had my first kidney when I was 8 years old, May 14, 1988. That was my first kidney, and that came from my cadaver. From what I know, it came from a little boy that died, that passed away, and that kidney lasted me basically 17 years, guys. Now, back then when I was 8 years old, I didn't even remember really being sick. I mean, I remember being in the hospital. I remember I had peritoneal dialysis back then. But I really didn't remember so much of the emotional effects, I would say, or physical. I think because I was so young that it really didn't hit me that much. And then my transplant was really quick. I think it was in a few months. So I don't recall being on dialysis for such a long time like I was on my second transplant. So once I got the cadaver kidney, I was like, right away I had to go to, I think it was back then it was the LA, oh God, what do you call that hospital? Well, it was in LA. I can't remember right now, sorry. It was in LA where I had my transplant, my first transplant. Lasted me 17 years, and on my 17th year, they were really trying to save my kidney and giving me so much medications. I mean, I plumped up so big because I was on prednisone, and I think I want to do a video on prednisone effects, because I think a lot of people are not aware of it, what happens during, because I was never told about side effects. But back then, maybe my mom was, but I was not. Anyways, they tried to save it. It eventually gave out after 17 years. We don't know really the reason why. It just started rejecting. Anyway, second kidney, I think I was on dialysis for a good, now this dialysis was through my fistula, so it was not peritoneal, which was stomach. This is now through my fistula on my arm, and I had dialysis through that, and that lasted, I think, about a year or 2. And honestly, to get a kidney now, we're in 2020, it's at least 5+ years, because it's amazing how, it's crazy really how many more people require kidney transplants. Like, what's going on with the food system and stuff. honestly, I feel there's something happening to the food system that's causing our organs to fail, that we're becoming more diabetic, overweight, and our soil is not good anymore. We're losing nutrients, but that's another video maybe on it. So I did the I did the fistula. I went 3 times a week to the dialysis center for 3 hours, and this time it did hit me. I mean, because I was now an independent person on my own, working full-time, going to school full-time, it was just crazy. I mean, I could probably talk a lot about my second kind of journey, but that's kind of what not this video is about. It's about good news. Because I did go through a lot of my second kidney transplant, and I want to do a video, because I want you guys to know, especially those that are going through dialysis, kidney rejection, that don't feel like you're alone. And everybody has different symptoms and what's going on with them. Everything's, I just don't want you to feel like you're alone in what you're going through. So anyway, so I got my kidney through my mom. My mom donated the second kidney, so she gave me another life and everything. And the doctor, when they did the transplant, the doctor said that the arteries in the kidney, with the urethra, everything, it just connected and it started pumping urine right away. So the fact that it was my mom's, going into me, it was like a perfect match. I didn't have to, the problem that it took so long, because I was in dialysis for so long, is because I know I did a video a while back on it about, God, I even forgot the name already, that I had a lot of anti-rejections in me. So I had to go through a lot of treatments to reduce all those anti-rejection antibodies in me in order for my mom's kidney to take on. Otherwise, it would have killed that kidney right away. So I had plasmapheresis. I had like so many things going on. It would take a long time. My second kidney transplant was done in Cedars-Sinai. And I'm still seeing them every year, just like I did on Friday, but it was virtual this time. Recovery was hell. I think it took me a good full year to properly recover and be where I'm at now. God, I just feel like I'm still fresh. Now I feel like I'm like 100%. So it's been 11 years that's passed by. I'm 11 years into my second kidney transplant, and the good news was, what I wanted to get to, is that my creatinine did started to elevate, started going to up to 1.5, and then even a little bit higher. So what happened in between? And if you follow me on Instagram, you kind of might know exactly what I kind of determined, and when my doctors kind of felt what was happening, is I started actually working out more. I started doing CrossFit. I started lifting more, and then I started eating more as well. So obviously, because you're working out and everything, you gotta recover properly. So within all that, and me researching creatinine and how to reduce it and what increases, it all came together, where my doctors and myself kind of felt that, well, surely your creatinine is going up, but you're also building some muscle mass, which I don't even want to get into the science of muscle building and the creatine, what happens. I mean, I could link it, but guys, it's a lot of stuff going on in the body that increases your creatinine. So a few things and a few tips that if you are going through this, and what I felt that I've done to improve my creatinine going low. And my creatinine went to 1.09, which is so freaking good. I was just ecstatic. I was so happy. I was just doing my dance, because from 1.5 or 1.54, even though my doctors were still worried, but the fact that they knew that I was working out and building some muscle, they were like, you know what, let's watch it. And now we went to 1.09, and I'm still doing the CrossFit and everything. That's really good. My kidney's working good. Okay, a few things that I did, that I kept Googling and searching what caused it, and I kind of drew reverse of it, because if you're doing this, it created it, so I kind of stopped doing that. So number one was fluids. I drink a lot more fluids. Back then, I was not. Maybe a few years ago, I was not. I would forget to drink water, honestly. And it's so important, especially a transplant patient, to drink a lot of fluids. You want to flush the body out of the toxins you have in there. So I started increasing. As you saw in my prior videos, I want to hit at least a 1 liter minimum. 2 is ideal. 3 is oh, holy shit, my bladder's gonna explode. I can't. So 2 I can pretty much get. Generally when I work out, I can drink a liter. Like, you know, my workouts, when I'm, you know, pausing and breaking, I'm drinking and guzzling water. And then the other liters I throw out when I'm working. So that was one, drinking a lot of water. Number two, I was never really a coffee drinker, but for some reason I started drinking coffee. I really don't know why. I mean, it's not like I crave it. Like, I get some other people really crave that coffee. They're even like, don't talk to me if I don't have coffee. I'm not like that. Like, I prefer ice cold drinks than a coffee, even on cold weather for some reason. So why did I stop coffee? Because coffee constricts the blood vessels, and it's not working. Your kidneys has to work a little bit harder, you know, to push through. Now, remember, I'm just talking about transplant patients here. If you are fully healthy kidneys, you might not have to worry. I see people drinking 3 to 4 cups coffee a day, but you have fully functional kidneys. So don't worry. I'm talking about here about people with a kidney transplant and what I've done to help me decrease my creatinine. All right, one is water. Two, I have really kind of stopped drinking coffee. Again, I've never really wanted it, never really craved it. I kind of started, I don't know why. I think I just wanted something different, so I just said, you know what, enough of that. Number three, the other thing that kind of worried me a little was because I came from a plant-based background about 9 years ago, and then I started eating animal products. Well, I Googled a lot about that in regards to the protein in it and how your body is, you know, breaking everything down. It did worry me some, because if you eat a higher plant-based protein diet, your kidneys are not working as hard. Now, when you're eating animal protein, your kidneys work a little bit more, because it's just harder to digest and break down. So one thing I did do was I don't really eat a lot of like beef, cow stuff. I guess I don't eat a lot of that. I mostly stick to like lean chicken, fat-free chicken, a lot of fat-free stuff like fat-free yogurts, fat-free cheeses and stuff like that. Now, I don't eat those cheeses and yogurts every day, like twice a week maybe, but I do incorporate a lot of turkey, ground turkey, chickens and stuff like that. So I really try to keep it as clean, I guess, quote unquote clean, because, you know, that word, I don't even know really how to express that, what that means anymore, but I want to eat it healthier. I really try to stick to a low fat kind of diet, but not too low where my hormones might get affected. So everybody's different. For me, I have to at least take 20-25% of fats to really feel pretty good, to make sure all the minerals, everything's getting absorbed. All right, so that was the other thing about that. So number 4, so 3 is water, 2 is coffee, 3 is my protein source. So number 4, which I felt that was probably the number 1, and I was kind of testing it, and it was funny because me and my doctor were testing this, and it's really good if you had a good relationship with your doctor to talk about, you know, what you're doing. So I started CrossFit. Obviously, when you're doing CrossFit, you probably will be building some muscle, breaking down, creatine comes out. So what I did was, before my labs are gonna get done, I pretty much kind of stopped workouts for at least 3 to 4 days before they do the labs. And I don't know if that helped relaxing my body, drinking the water, not breaking down muscle, which is done, causes the creatinine, to build up. I felt all that helped. So give it a try if you're going through this as well. I think number 1, I even asked my doctors, like, what do you think caused it from 1.5 to 1.09? He said it's more of the fluids. So I can agree with him. And he said, I don't know about your workout, but it could possibly be because of the muscle growth that you're going through. Now, obviously, I'm not bulking up and stuff, but there is muscle breakdown every time you work out. You are stressing your body. You're stressing your organs. You're stressing everything. So with that said, I feel like those are the things that I've done, and it reduced it, my creatine, and I'm just so happy. Now, the other thing I wanted to present here was, they do this test for me called AlloSure. I don't know if any of you guys are aware of it, but I'll put a link where you guys can see what's it about. But it's a new test that they come out about, I think a few years ago, that it got presented to me. And basically what was happening, since my creatinine was going up, they want to basically catch it and if there is a potential rejection. So what's going to happen, you might get a kidney biopsy. So a kidney biopsy is not fun. I've had like 2 or 3 done since I've had my first kidney at 8 years old, and it is not fun. I'm telling you, it is the scariest thing. Even now, it is the scariest thing you can go through. It is painful after, and you're kind of out for a few days. So a kidney biopsy is, you have, and you're awake for the kidney biopsy, you have to go into the hospital. They have this huge ass needle that basically goes in your stomach, and it basically touches your kidney. And for me, I literally touched, like, I felt like a pressure like bouncing off my kidney. And they snap a little piece of your kidney. So what does that happen? That basically creates injury to the kidney. You don't really want to do that. You don't want to cause injury. You don't want to cause the kidney to be in stress, but they have to do that in order to actually see inside if there is a potential of rejection. And you don't want to get to that where it's like, surely there could be a potential rejection. Now we have to, boom, put you in the hospital and pump you with all these freaking toxins and medications to try to save that kidney. So this new blood drawn is called AlloSure. Here it is, and I'll put also a link so you guys can talk about it more or ask your doctor. But AlloSure actually detects the possibility of rejection and could eliminate the potential of a kidney biopsy. So AlloSure has these levels that they detect anything under 0.8 or 0.08, I forgot, anything under that. There's no potential of rejection, basically. So even if, let's say my creatinine was 1.5 and it went 1.8, then it went 2. If the AlloSure still detected that it's not detecting rejection, they're still okay with it, because now they'll go back to my lifestyle and say, well, you are working out, you are, exercising, possibility of still more muscle breakdown, and that could be it. Now, at one point, I was actually a bit sad, because I was like, do I have to stop my workouts, my body weight workouts, my CrossFit for this? But obviously, again, I was testing this myself, because I wanted to see what the changes were if I stopped it before doing my labs, and obviously it worked. So that's a great, now let's say AlloSure went and I got the results and it was a 1. Now it's a potential of rejection. Now it's a potential of a kidney biopsy, and actually see internally what's going on with the cells, what type of rejection, what type of treatment I need, all that. So that's just stuff that I'm going through that I wanted to share with you guys. And AlloSure sent me, so cute, they sent me this. They sent me a little mask to cover myself for COVID, a little hand sanitizer. And why did they send me this? It's because due to the COVID, they actually had to send a phlebotomist to my house to take out, to do the blood draw for AlloSure and my other tests. And they also sent me a little kidney. See that? I don't know, I just thought it was kind of cute. I mean, I'm curious if this is actually how a kidney would look like the size of it. I don't know if I mentioned on my first kidney, I actually had him take a picture, because they had to take it out because it started getting infected. I still have the picture of it. If you guys want to see it, let me know. I'll post it up on Instagram, guys. I don't know, I just felt like, maybe I'll go to another video on this. I know it's getting long, but anyway, I had my first kidney. It lasted me 17 years. It started rejecting. They had to take it out because it started getting infected. When I woke up, I cried. I felt like a part of me was leaving, almost like a baby. I started crying, and it was just my kidney, it was, there for me, and it did so much for me. So, the second time around, I'm just taking care of myself extra better, and everything. And then I think what I'm doing is working. My doctor said, keep doing what you're doing. 11 years with this kidney. I want this kidney to last forever if possible, because the possibility of rejection is there. It is there, unfortunately. And I don't want to go through the dialysis again. I mean, who knows how long. And there's been studies of artificial kidneys, if you haven't heard about it, using pigs' kidneys that they're actually as close as humans. I mean, there's so much experimenting happening that makes me sad, but it's like at the end it's to save several lives. I've heard stories that people go to India to buy kidneys, and because everybody's born with 2, so in India they're desperate for money, so they sell their extra kidney. So if you have your 2 function kidneys, be happy, be blessed. you are very blessed to have two function kidneys to, take care of yourself, of everything you have in front of you, your arms, your eyes, your heart, your liver, all of this stuff that if other people deal with that they don't have, or they have to get a transplant, they have to wait. I take care of my baby so much, and it's my mom's as well. So me and my mom are always together, so just take care of it. So I'm going to end the video on that. AlloSure, my creatinine's at 1.09. My AlloSure was at 0.5 last year, and hopefully everything is good this year too. They haven't given me the results yet, but I'll probably post it down in the comments, my AlloSure basically levels, and also my antibodies. They're going to test that, and my antibodies is supposed to be going down, which is pretty good news. And they monitor that because I have it from all the transfusions I've had, and it's going to be there, and hopefully it just decreases on its own, and it will protect my, medicines I'm taking will protect it. And the other thing is they decrease my salsa. I was taking like 1,000 twice a day, now it's 750 twice a day. So yes, the less the better, believe me, the less toxins. Alright guys, that's it. I'm going to leave it like that. Have a good weekend, rest, take care of yourself, and yay.